Welcome, Yogi, to this yoga stretch for the lower back and legs. You don't have to have any props for this practice, though you might find if you have a pillow or a blanket, it can make seated and kneeling poses more comfortable. And if you have a strap for our final pose, our hamstring stretch, or a belt, that will be useful. But again, if you don't have one, that's okay. Please begin sitting cross-legged today. And pop your right leg in front of your left. And as you can see, just perching up on a blanket can help with comfort here for the hips and the knees. It's okay to sit on the floor as well. And rest your hands onto your knees. And just close your eyes, feel into whether you're sitting upright or leaning. Maybe you move forwards or backwards for a moment. And then arrive somewhat centered. Take a deep breath in and grow a touch taller. Out through your nose, relax your shoulders. In through your nose, rising tall through the crown, lengthening the back of your neck. And slow exhale through your nose. Just arriving here on your mat today. One more deep breath, take your time. And let it go when you're ready. We'll start some movement with seated, cats and cows. So that's lifting the chest, lifting your chin, breathing in with a bit of a tilt forwards in your pelvis. As you exhale, hold onto your knees, lean your torso back and roll your chin towards your chest. Inhale, tilt from the pelvis, lift up the chin and the chest. Exhale, round. And do a couple more. Inhale, the elbows pull back. Tilt your pelvis forwards. We're just trying to loosen up here, both the hips and the low back. Exhale. Tilt the pelvis back, round your whole spine. Last one for now. And exhale, round. And come back to neutral. Pop your feet in front of you for a moment with your knees bent. Take your hands to behind your knees, your thighs. Lift up again on your in-breath and just start to gently lean forwards. You can shift your hand position to the shins, maybe to the feet, and tuck your chin down towards your chest again. Just take a low back, a deep breath towards your low back. And let it go. And we'll sit our way up. Pop your left shin in front of your right, please, Yogi. Once again to your cross-legged seat. Hands onto your knees, just like you did a few moments ago. A few more rounds of seated cats and cows. Lift up the chin and the chest. See how much you can tilt from the pelvis and let that flow all the way up your spine. And then scoop the tailbone under as you round. Hold onto the knees to give you a little resistance there, all the way up into upper back. Inhale, arch. And exhale, round. Inhale, arch. So not just moving back here, we're also just starting to get connection of breath and movement together. Inhale. And exhale. And we'll come back to neutral. Pop your feet in front of you again, but this time a little bit wider. And you can start to windshield wipe your knees side to side. So walk your feet into a comfortable position so you can let both knees go over to the right as you exhale. And just let your hips roll as much as they want to with this today. Inhale, come up to center and exhale over to the left. Sometimes we try and keep the hips down or rooted, but this time just come up and roll them over to the right. We're just trying to get things starting to move, especially if you've come to this class because you're feeling some tension. Up to center and over to the left. Up to the middle again. We're going to go to the right and stay to the right. We'll continue to turn the torso to the right. I'm going to move down my mat a bit so I don't run out of room. Turn torso to the right. And once you get to either facing the back of your mat or to a feeling of twist, not too much, you'll walk down to your forearms if you can. Now, I didn't mention blocks at the start, but you might find if your forearms on the floor is a little too far, you could put blocks or books under your forearms, or you could just walk your hands to the left a little bit more so that it's not quite so intense. And as we settle in, if possible, perhaps move a little bit further to the right to intensify the stretch. The target here usually is around the low back area, the left low back and waist. It could be the hips that feel it more. You might feel it in your shoulders. Just remember, nothing is necessarily good nor bad. Simply be able to observe what arises and breathe into it. Relax both hips. Take another deep breath. Assess, would you like to stay as you are? Would you like to adjust the pose to be a little gentler, a little deeper? We just got about 3 more deep breaths. There's also the option to stay just as you are, if it's perfect. If you were down on your forearms, climb your way back up and walk your way back around gradually to the middle. Lift the knees, adjust and go all the way over to the other side. Same thing, both knees to the left. Sit up quite tall, roll the shoulders down. Enjoy a full breath in. Continue to walk your hands around to the left, around to the space behind you there. And lower down onto your forearms if you can. If it doesn't feel good to lower down to the forearms, you can stay on your hands. You could go a bit more to the right so it's not so intense. Or you could prop up on blocks. Once you find a height that feels moderate in intensity, relax your hands and your shoulders. Check in with any tension that might still be holding there in the hips. See what you can soften there. And then bring your attention to your breath. Smooth inhales, as if you could breathe into that right waist and hip. And exhales that carry away tension and holding. You can assess, would you like to change the pose in any way? You're welcome to stay just as you are. You could choose to intensify or to decrease intensity. Carefully climb your way back up and around to facing forwards on your mat. Stretch your legs out, adjust your seat. And again, if you are sat on the edge of your blanket, we're going to sit right on the edge of it now to help us with our tilt forwards again in the pelvis. And extend both legs out in front of you. And draw the right one back in. And pop your foot on the inside of the left leg. So Janu Shirshasana. And in this position, if your knee or your hip give you any trouble, you could pop a book or a block underneath it for a little bit of support. And sit up, rise up through the crown and chest. Breathe in. Gently pull the right knee down towards the floor and lean forwards, tilting from your hips. So without overly rounding the back. And just find a little bit of stretch, not a very, very deep stretch. Don't go into your fullest stretch, by any means. Just a moderate amount of stretch. And we're going to move the head and the foot to gently tension and loosen the back of the body to try and release tension from your calves and hamstrings. So lift up your chin without lifting your chest, just your chin lifts, and point your toes forwards, your left toes. And through your exhale, pull the toes back and tuck your chin close to your chest. And just feel a gentle pull through the back of your body. Linger there. Point your toes, lift your chin. Inhale. Exhale, chin to chest, toes towards your chest. Linger, especially in the pause at the end of a breath. Point your toes, lift your chin. Exhale, toes back towards you, chin to chest. Pause. Just one more of these. Point your toes. Lift your head and breathe in. Exhale, find the stretch. Lift up a little bit as you inhale, lift your chest, relax your foot. And as you exhale, you can lean forward, see if you feel more comfortable. Coming to moderate sensation of stretch. Right knee gently pulling down, no pain in either knee. Heart, center of your chest, stretching forwards towards your toes. And one more full breath, please. Let's take 2 more breaths here. That was sneaky, I apologize. And then you can rise. It just felt like a stretch which we should stay a little longer in. Extend your right leg back out. You might need to just give your leg a little rub, your knee, or wiggle your legs out to bring everything back to normal after that deep bend that you had in your right knee. And let's set up Janu Shirshasana on the other side. Left foot into the inside of your right leg. Remember, you can always use your block to support your knee if you feel any sort of pulling or discomfort. And we'll lift up the chest, breathe in. Lean out over your right leg, just to the point at which you feel a moderate sensation, not very much, not going as far as you possibly can. Left knee gently pulling down, feeling quite straight in your back almost, not very rounded if you can help it. And you'll point your toes when you breathe in and lift up your chin, just like we did on the other side. And exhale, draw your toes back towards you and tuck your chin into your chest. And just take your time with these. Point your toes, lift up your chin. Exhale, foot towards you, chin to chest. Point your toes, lift the gaze, and draw it back, chin to chest. One more of these, please, Yogi. Use the exhale to find the stretch. And linger there in the unforced pause at the end of a breath. And lift up, relax your foot, come to neutral through your neck, big breath in. And as you exhale, see whether you feel comfortable folding. And find a height, perhaps with a little bit more intensity than that first one we came into. Still not forcing anything. Breathing deeply. And almost stretching your spine longer as you take a breath. Inhale and come up. Exhale, release your left leg. And just like you did on the other side, give the legs a little movement. And if you need to rub your knees, shake anything out. We're going to shift position up to a downward facing dog, so you can cross left shin in front of right and spin around to your table. You might still need your blanket in a little bit, so you can leave it across your mat, or you can move it to the front and lift up into your downward facing dog. And continue to pedal out your legs. Quite loose with this. First off, you check in, make sure you feel some elevation in your shoulders. And then just moving the hips and the heels and the knees. Relax your neck. And let's find some stillness and stability in down dog. Feet as wide as your hips, or perhaps a touch wider. If you'd like, you can have some softening in your knees so that you can really lift your hips up and back. Let's press the right heel towards the floor. Bend your left knee a bit to help with that. Lift your tailbone up high. Just bring a little bit more stretch into your calf, your right calf or hamstring. And then switch to the other side. Left heel towards the floor. Bend your right knee. Keep your shoulders strong. Push them out away. Lift your hips extra high. Tilt the tailbone up towards the ceiling. If your heel isn't on the floor, that's okay. If it is on the floor, that's okay. Relax your neck. And let's walk this forwards, top of the mat. When you arrive at the front of your space, lift up halfway, stretch your spine out, and bend your knees into dangle pose. Relaxing forwards and down, rest your hands onto the floor or in the opposite elbow, and relax your neck and your shoulders. And generous bend in the knees here is to help us release tension from your low back again. And just let the weight of the head gently traction tension out of your spine. And we'll release. Hands to the floor if they're wet in the elbows. Bend your knees a bit more. Get the weight in your feet. Push feet up, feet down, hands forwards and up. Breathe in. Open at the top. Let's get a front body stretch for a moment. And the hands down to your heart. Let your breath go. Relax. Take a moment here. Deep breath in. And out. Release your hands to your side. Turn your palms out. Circle your arms out, up, inhale. And this time, as we take our hands down, we'll keep the legs straight if possible. So coming into forward fold. If your hands don't comfortably touch the floor, grab your blanket, put them up on there, books or blocks perhaps. Or if they don't touch the floor and you don't have anything you can put them onto, come back into dangle pose. So choose which of those two poses you can do today. One more deep breath in and out. Step your left foot to the back. Lower your left knee down, and this is where I mentioned you might still want your blanket. You can pop it there underneath your left knee if you like. Sink the weight into the right heel a little bit. Start to look forwards. Inhale, circle your arms out and up, and lift them overhead, sinking down towards your right heel again with your exhale. Bring a little bit of engagement into your left glutes. So you're supporting opposed to engagement in the legs and helping to release tension from the front of the left hip flexors. If you feel fatigue in your arms today, if you've come to stretch your hips and your low back because you've done a lot in your upper body this week, you could always put your hands down on your knee so that you're not having to hold them up overhead. Perhaps if you have some crunchiness in your shoulders that you'd rather avoid, it's okay to have the hands down. Let's bring the hands down to the floor. Tuck your left toes under and lift your left knee off the mat. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, spin to the left side of your mat as if you're going to come into wide-legged pose. We're just passing through though for the moment. Inhale and shift all the way to the back, Skandasana, side lunge. So you turn your left toes out a few degrees and sink your hips down to about knee height is good. If you have a Skandasana where you can comfortably bring the hips lower without lifting the heel, you're welcome to do that. But at this height, hips about knee height or a bit higher, with a tilt up of a tailbone, almost like you're trying to arch your back like a cow pose. You hopefully will feel some beneficial stretch through the inner thighs. You might also experience a stretch through this left ankle and calf and the hip, all kinds of good places. And we'll come back up to the middle. Take a moment to adjust your feet, slightly turned in at the toes and out at the heels. Halfway lift on a breath in. Fold forwards on your exhale. You can walk your hands through between your feet if they'll go comfortably, fingers facing the space behind you. And when you start to feel a very gentle sensation of pull, you can stop there and pull your elbows towards the fingertips side of the room, assisting your stretch. Come with curiosity rather than striving. One more deep breath, please, Yogi. If you did walk your hands through behind you, bring them back underneath the shoulders. Inhale. Just a reset there. Turn forwards on your mat and end up in a lizard pose. So now you'll wiggle your right foot to the outside of your mat. Pop your left knee back down onto the floor or onto your blanket again. And then plant both hands on the floor first. Take your right knee out wide. I'm going to back out here so you can see. Come onto the outside of the right foot as your knee goes off to the side of the room a bit. And then bring it back up. And do that a couple of times. Roll onto the outer foot, let the right knee go out wide. And then back up. And go out. And back up. take it out and hold there. Stretching perhaps a bit more sensation in your glutes. And then bring your knee back up. Left hand can move slightly in front of your shoulder and out to the side of your mat. Put your right hand onto your right knee or up the thigh. Press into it and turn belly, ribs, and chest as if you want to turn both your collarbones up to the ceiling. Just getting a little bit of a twist here, even though we're very lower body focused. I feel like every time we come on the mat, it helps us if we've also moved our spine in its natural range of motion. Make sure you're not sinking too heavily into your left shoulder. Turn your chest back down to the floor. Pop your hands both under the shoulders again. Tuck your left toes under. Keep your hips really low here. And we're going to press the left heel back, lifting the knee up, but keeping your hips really low. Inhale. And exhale, pop your knee back down. Just do that 2 more times, please. Press your heel back, inhale. Knee down, exhale. Press your heel back, inhale. And knee down, exhale. Lift your hips out of the intensity of this, please. Slide your right foot back next to the left. Tabletop pose. Look forwards, lift up the tailbone, lift up your head. Draw a breath in low. Round your back, exhale. Tuck your tailbone down and chin to chest. Arch your back, look forwards. And to Balasana, child's pose, let your hips come back to your feet. And rest your hands either forwards or under your head, or even next to your side if you like. And if child's pose doesn't feel accessible today with your knees, your thighs, or low back or anywhere else, you're welcome to take some more cats and cows to continue loosening up the spine. Just 2 more deep breaths. On your in breath, come on back to tabletop all fours. Exhale back up to downward facing dog. Pedal out loosely again. Just organic movement here in your down dog. You check you've got a stable base in your shoulders that's lifting, pushing into the ground. And then just alternating which heel presses towards the floor. You can go as kind of sideways as you want with your hips. And then find equal weight through both heels, sinking both heels pretty equally this time, perhaps even feeling like you could lift up your toes. If you're on your toes, that's not going to be possible today, but you could still feel that sensation of lift, the effort towards lift. And walk forwards, top of your mat. Inhale to half lift, hands to shins or thighs. Stretch your entire spine from tailbone to crown. Exhale, bend your knees, dangle pose. Relax your neck. Hands resting on the floor or in the opposite elbow, belly on thighs if you can. Remember, you're not trying to stretch your legs here, you're just letting the weight release some of your low back tension. And let's release. Start to lift your torso up, make sure you're ready to stand. Push your feet forwards and up with your hands as you breathe in. Reach high. Hands to your heart, exhale. Relax your shoulders. Bring your hands down by your sides. Take your arms out and up as you inhale. Fold forwards, an invitation to come back into straight leg fold, Uttanasana, or to dangle pose with the knees bent for your low back. Picking the pose that feels most beneficial to you today. Remember, in Uttanasana, in forward fold, that blocks under the hands might help you to feel supported with good alignment in your back so that you don't have to round aggressively into the pose. Focus on lifting the tailbone up, tilting the pelvis forwards like we did in those seated cats and cows right at the start. Relax intensity from there. Step your right foot to the back and lower your right knee down. Cushion it with your blanket or pillow if you wish. Sink your weight forwards down towards the left foot. Squeeze the right glutes. Press both feet down. Come on up with your inhale. Your hands can go out or forwards, up overhead. And you can start to sink down again. Engaging right glutes. Just another reminder to help release through the front of the right leg. And of course, if arms overhead doesn't feel great, let them come down. Rest them on the thigh or at prayer position in front of you. Lower your hands back to the mat. Tuck your back toes under, lift the knee, and turn to the long side of your mat. So I'm going to turn my back to you. I apologize. Toes in, heels out for a moment. Breathe in. And over to the right foot. Now both feet turn out slightly. Right toes especially, and they point the same way your knee wants to go. Hips down to the right until you feel some stretch through the inner thighs or the calf or the Achilles. If you're comfortable and wish to go lower, you may. But if you're feeling some stretch here at knee height, this is good. Can you straighten out your spine a little more, almost arching your back in this high position? Check in with the quality of your breathing. Let that be your indicator of whether you're at a good depth for you or whether you're pushing a little far. If your breath gets a little bit short and choppy, you might be just pushing the edge a little bit too much. You're always welcome to come out a little bit or to deepen if you feel like there's room. Come back to center. Halfway lift. As you do, kick your heels out a tiny bit. Forward fold. Walk your hands through between the feet if that feels possible. You can always rest them right under the shoulders if that feels safer. Through between the feet, fingers face away from you. And a soft bend to the elbows will pull you in towards the pose. And just a reminder to be gentle. Not striving, not forcing. Notice the weight distribution in your feet. If you're very heel heavy, you could very carefully try shifting forwards a bit. Be sure to not over-rotate. Start to release intensity of the pose. Rotate back around to the front of your mat, this time with your left foot, going out wide. Back knee comes back down onto the blanket or the floor. Setting up for Uttanasana, or lizard pose. with the hands firmly under the shoulders, supporting some of the weight of your torso. Take your left knee wide, rolling onto the outside of your left foot. So you start to just find some external rotation. Come back up and back out, just breathing fluidly throughout. We'll do this twice more. You want to hold this external rotation for a couple of breaths. Right glute a little active. The knee can be next to the shoulder or close to the upper arm. Right hand, move it further forwards and out to the side so you have a bit of room here. Take your left hand to your upper knee. Press down and rotate. Torso to the left. So push away through your right shoulder, push away through the left hand, and try and shine right collarbone up towards the ceiling a little. If it feels like strain in the neck, you can always look down. Where would you like to have your hips? Could they sink a bit? Do they need to lift a bit? Turn your torso towards the floor. Both hands back onto the mat under the shoulders. Walk your right hand back in. Tuck your right toes and lift. Pause for a moment. Keep your hips low. Then we're going to press that right heel back. The knee comes up off the floor, but not really changing much else. Almost like your chest and crown are trying to reach the space in front of you. Lower the knee down, while your heel is trying to reach for the space behind you, whatever's back there. So press your heel back. Keep your hips low. Lift the back knee. Exhale, lower the knee down. And go one more time. Pick it up. Pause. Chest forwards, heel back, and lower that back down. Lift your hips back out of intensity. Slide your left foot back to meet the right. Tabletop pose, equal weight through both hands, right under the shoulders there. Inhale, lift up your head and your tailbone. Exhale, round. Inhale and arch. And continue your cats and cows if you feel lovely, or exhale back to child's pose if that feels good to you. Pick which version feels most beneficial to you today. Rise up to your table and to your downward facing dog. Soften your face. Take one more deep breath in and out. Stroll your way up to just past the middle of your mat. And you might utilize your blanket or pillow for this. And come into yogi squats. So that's where your hips drop down towards your heels. So if when you do this, you find your heels want to pop up, grab your blanket or some support and pop it underneath your heels to give them that little bit of raise, and you might find the pose more comfortable. If you do not find it more comfortable, you're welcome to take a seat with the same sort of shape, feet tucked in as close as you can without forcing the knees. We've just got a couple more deep breaths here. If you're in Malasana, supported or unsupported hands to prayer. Press the elbows out into the knees lightly, knees into the elbows. Feel your spine lengthen. And we're going to take a seat. So you may sit back from where you are. You might find safer to come forwards and then readjust. However you get down to sitting works for me. We're going to come down. I'm going to switch directions. So I'm facing you guys. I'm going to pop the feet out wide. So you're in a straddle position. Again, the lift and the perch right on the edge of your blanket can really help you to feel the tilt more forwards of your pelvis rather than being rounded and scooped under. Take a deep breath in, rotate towards the right leg and fold out towards it. Now, it's okay if you feel quite upright. It's okay if you lay fully flat. And it's okay if you're anywhere in between. See what feels like moderate intensity for you today. And then breathe. And rather than thinking about going low, especially with the head, think about lengthening, as if the center of your chest could one day perhaps touch your big toe. And let's rise up. Orientate towards your left foot, same thing. Use your exhale. Begin to hinge that way. Find moderate intensity. That might be more of an upright position or more towards your foot. Wherever you are is perfect if you find just that moderate amount of stretch and an abundance of contentment and breath. And gratitude towards your body for all of what it's done in your practice so far, the many things it can do. Even if there's some that feel restricted or difficult, or some poses that aren't possible, there is much you are able to do. Let your heart settle on those things. And let's come up. We're going to tuck the right foot in, bringing it all the way into the inner left thigh. Bring your left foot in and either place it near your shin, or if it's possible, pop it to the outside of the leg. This can be a bit bound up, so make sure that you don't cause any discomfort in your knees or your hips for this, and gently sit the left sit bone down, especially if you put your foot to the outside. Sit up tall as you breathe in. As you exhale, hug your knee in with your right hand, either hand or elbow. Turn to the left, and while we're doing a twist here, also hug your knee towards your right collarbone so that you target a little bit of extra stretch into the left hip and glutes. And then unwind. Do a little switcheroo of your legs. Left foot tucks in, right foot over the top or to the inside. Both ways works great. See what feels good to you. Right sit bone down towards the floor if possible. Left hand or elbow around your knee. Rise up. Use your exhale to twist, but actively hug your knee towards your torso, especially towards your left underarm or collarbone. Sitting down a little through that right hip and sit bone. And you soften your shoulders on your exhale. and then unravel. Undo your legs. If you have a strap, you're going to reach for it. If you don't, it's totally fine. Come down to lying on your back, please, Yogi. Take your strap around your left foot and stretch it up to the ceiling. If you can get into the bony structure of the foot, the big toe mound to little toe mound, that's good, rather than the arch. Just wiggle it up there. If you don't have a strap, it's okay. You can have a bend in your knee and hold onto the thigh for a moment. We're actually just setting up right leg going straight. We're setting up for a twist that can sometimes just feel good through the outer leg and the hip. Now, if you don't have a strap, you're going to have a bend in your knee instead. And I'm going to move my hips a little bit to the left also. You might do the same. Right foot to the, I'm all back to front. Left foot to the right side, coming into rotation. And you'll hold the strap as close to your foot as you can. Now, some of you might hold your foot. Some of you, if you don't have a strap, you can hold on to your outer leg with a bit of a bend in your knee. You can really hold wherever here. Explore the position of the strap and the foot. For more intensity, it's like the foot is moving towards the head end of your mat, so up towards the shoulders end of your mat. Press away through your right heel. One more deep breath. And out. Relax into it. And come back up. Switch your feet somewhere along the way. Left leg fully straight. Left hand holds the strap. Right arm counterbalances you. You can bump your hips a little bit to the right. And come into your twist. Remember, if you don't have a strap, you can hold the foot with your knee bent. You could hold your calf. You could fully bend your knee. Some of you might hold your foot. Lots of ways to express this pose. Feel into what's right for you today. Letting go through your exhales, especially around the hips, and then your shoulders. One more full breath in. And follow your exhale all the way out till the unforced pause at the end. And just linger there a moment. And start to release. If you're using a strap, you might just leave it out where it is and come back up to center. Adjust your hips so they feel in alignment with your shoulders. Shimmy your shoulders and rest in constructive rest, knees falling in together. Or stretch your legs out straight, or even rested on a bolster or feet up on your sofa. Just let yourself be for this next couple of minutes. I really recommend staying here for as long as you can. If you're ready to continue with your day, though, and gradually start to make your way onto your side. And up to a seat. Rest your hands together. Silently thank yourself for coming to your mat today. And let's breathe in together and out together. Thank you for your practice. Namaste. To keep up to date with new Paradigm Yoga videos, please remember to subscribe. Thank you.